on the road to recovery in Castle Rock, Colorado. Live from Millville, New Jersey, I'm on the road to recovery. We're on the road to recovery in Morgantown, West Virginia at Mountaineer Field. And live in Scranton, Pennsylvania, I'm on the road to recovery. Here I am on the road to recovery from Berlin, Maryland. Hey, from Caseville, Michigan, I'm on the road to recovery. I'm on the road to recovery at Ann Arbor, University of Michigan. Hey, back in Jersey, Recovery Army, recuperating for our next leg of our tour. And I was recently down in Florida with a beautiful singer and songwriter, Stacey Hampton. She's like my little sister. She wrote the Road to Recovery song. She is so gifted, so beautiful. Her story is beautiful as well. On the road to recovery recently in Florida with Stacey Hampton.
I'm Stacey Hampton. My addiction began when I was actually not until I was in college. And you know, I played soccer at the collegiate level, and playing a sport is a lot like being in a sorority in a sense that you pretty much, everybody just parties and plays the sport and then maybe goes to class long enough to stay eligible. And ironically, the first 2 years that I was at school, I didn't drink or do anything like that because I was too anal about what I put in my body as an athlete. And then eventually it got to the point where, Stacey, you're partying with us, right? And yeah, okay. And that's where it started. Was I had a party at the swim team's house. And that was the first time I ever drank. And I drank until I blacked out. I got into opiates and benzos and uppers when I thought it was a great idea to become a better soccer player by using steroids. And so I got introduced to uppers and downers at that point. It wasn't that I'd volunteered to go, yes, sign me up for treatment. I was court ordered. I have a felony conviction of vehicular homicide. I killed one of my teammates and very good friends drinking and driving. And it was one of the many things that I was court ordered to do to stay out of prison. And the only reason why I'm not there is because her parents found it in their hearts to talk to the district attorney and not want to see 2 lives completely destroyed. But I still had to do a lot of things in order to satisfy the court system, and one of them was to do inpatient for 30 days after I'd failed outpatient. I wasn't done at that point, to be quite honest. I wasn't done. And 9 more years, I found myself Baker acted in 2008 off of a suicide attempt. That was the first time that I found myself at that crossroads of I gotta do something different, or I'm gonna die. I mean, and it wasn't. I was gonna take my own life. I mean, I knew that. I couldn't do what I was doing anymore. I dove completely into a 12-step fellowship, completely into it, feet first. And I was very fortunate, and I can say that looking back now, I was very fortunate in the sense that I couldn't find a job for the first 2 years of sobriety because nobody apparently likes to hire felons. So, and of course at the time I was like, God hates me, if this is sobriety, I don't want it, that whiny victim thing that we tend to do. But because I couldn't find a job, I was able to throw myself into recovery. I got involved in 12 steps. I was going to 3 meetings a day. I got a sponsor. I'd work the steps, and 6 months they threw me into service work. I was going to a detox center on a regular 2 nights a week actually, and then doing drug court on a Monday night. And that's where sobriety took off for me. It was a combination of, first and foremost, following direction and following suggestions, right? And getting in, as they said early on, getting in the middle of the lifeboat. And my recovery just took off from that point. I put my recovery first and threw myself into that, and lo and behold, I mean, that's the key right there. God takes care of the rest and puts the picture together beautifully, absolutely beautifully. And all along at that, I mean, all along music has been there, you know, and I started playing at, you know, local treatment centers and, you know, local fellowship conventions and things like that. I mean, just to, you know, show people that recovery, I mean, not only recovery is fun, because that seems to be such a cliche at this point, but that you can find, I found a purpose in, you know, two gifts that God gave me. Number one was sobriety, and number two was music, you know, and combining that together and bringing a hopeful feeling to people is, you know, what I enjoy doing. I love getting in front of addicts and alcoholics and just jamming out. Everybody loves music. It's been quite a journey. It's been quite a road to recovery. I mean, I tell newcomers, because they're always like, you know, we're gonna be so bored. I'm like, I wish I could be bored. You know, like, you throw yourself into this, I'm telling you, put the seatbelt on, because it is a ride. You know, God will take it to areas you never thought possible. And it's been such a blessing. I mean, first and foremost, I've met the love of my life. And because we're both on this journey together in sobriety and in recovery, like we're truly walking this path, you know, shoulder to shoulder, and we speak the same language, and we understand when one of us is in the midst of a total selfish and self-centered meltdown, the other one can go, it's cool, honey, I get it, mine will be tomorrow. But that is a walk I never thought possible, first and foremost. The other, I mean, I work at a facility, and I'm not like a counselor or something fancy like that. I just drive the van, you know, like just get in the van and I take them here and I take them to meetings, but in that exchange, I can plant seeds along the way, you know, and share my experience with them first and foremost. And I get to play music for people in avenues and in ways that I never thought possible. I have relationships in my life with my parents that it is at times annoying, because, you know, they actually want to be involved in my life so incredibly much. I mean, thy will, not mine, will be done. You know, I tell you, that has become probably the most powerful words that I can speak, quite honestly, in that sense that when I stopped fighting and I stopped resisting what was happening and what was in front of me, everything changed. And that is continuous, even for me today, because God is trying to move in my life, right? And as an addict and as an alcoholic, I fight that, because I think I know what the picture is supposed to look like and how my life is supposed to be, and it's supposed to go this way. I was supposed to be a professional athlete, and when it wasn't going that way and I found myself fighting it and becoming angry, this tension started to create within myself that I needed relief for. What happened was, when I stopped fighting it, you know, and we can call that surrender or whatever you want to call it, but when I stopped fighting and said, you know what, this is how it is right now, and this is what's in front of me, everything shifted. And that continues to be my experience at this point, in total acceptance with what is happening right now. You know, my advice to people is, you know, concede to your innermost self, first of all, that you have an issue. You can't find the solution unless you first admit that there's a problem. There's another cliche, but that's so true. You know, because within the problem is the solution.
Stacey, thank you. Thank you for being in my life. Thank you for sharing your music with me. Thank you so much for writing that beautiful song, The Road to Recovery. And I am grateful to have you in my life. I love you. I appreciate you sharing your story so I can share it with the world. We're leaving Jersey soon on the road to recovery. I'm Michael DeLeon. We will see you from some other state, some other place, with some other story. On the road to recovery, we'll see you on the next episode.